WFM 91.7.
All right, you're tuned into Women Radio WFM 91.7. I hope that you're having an amazing day with us right here. This is Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. I hope your day is going on well like mine is. All right, so yes, my name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser, and of course, today is day 3 of our 16 Days of Activism right here on Women Radio WFM 91.7. All right, so yes, it's a day 3 of the 16 Days of Activism with the theme Unite, Invest to Prevent Violence Against Women and Girls. The 16 Days of Activism is a global campaign which which started from the 25th of November and is going to, with the International Day of the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and is going to go up to the 10th of December, Human Rights Day. Now, this year, Women Radio 91.7 is spotlighting first responders who provide first-hand help and support to survivors of SGBV, that's sexual gender-based violence. So today, our first responder is none other than the amazing Joy, of course, and Joy Shokoya. She is the Center Manager of Mirabel Center. Good afternoon, Joy. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hello, Joy. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. It's also a pleasure to have you here today as our first responder on the 3rd day of activism, 16 Days of Activism, right here on Women Radio. So to be a part of the conversation, do well to dial 07000 917 917. Send a message or a text, a WhatsApp message or a text message 070 317 56537. Let's get to hear from you this afternoon. You can also go to our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube at WFM917.com. Log on to our website, www.wfm917.com. Download our mobile app, WFM917, and you get to listen to us live from any part of the world and follow the conversations on 16 Days of Activism. All right, so today we'll be discussing the first responder story, work done so far, success, challenges, and way forward in ending violence against women and girls. All right, so like I said, our first responder today is Joy Shokoya, and she is the Center Manager, Mirabel Center. All right, so let's head on straight to the discussion of today, Joy. Now, as an organization, how have you been responding to gender-based violence so far, especially in the locality where you work or where your organization is based?
Okay, thank you very much. A very good afternoon to you once again. So the organization that I work is referred to as the Mirabel Center. Mirabel Center is a sexual assault referral center located in the heart of Lagos, and we provide support to survivors of rape and sexual assault. We provide also referral service and legal advice to survivors. We have been in this sphere for a while. The Mirabel Center opened its doors to survivors in 2013. And since then, up until now, I've seen over 8,000 survivors. So, how have we been responding?
Wow. Okay.
8,000.
Okay, that's impressive.
And we responded to survivors of rape and sexual assault by, first of all, providing medical and psychosocial support to them. So as a first responder, when something like this happens, we are people that they come to receive immediate medical attention. And this becomes important because in cases of rape and sexual assault, there is need for immediate response. Because, in fact, all the time, the amount of service that you're able to provide medically has a time window. There's a time lapse to it. So if they are able to access our services for 72 hours, then we are.
Hello, Joy, are you with us? All right, so we'll just try to reconnect with Joy because she's joining us virtually. And she is just telling us how they have been responding so far to survivors of gender based violence. So we'll try to reconnect with her and have her back so we can hear how far they have gone. We can hear about their challenges so far. We can hear, of how it has been so far, especially for the Miracle Center. And it's quite impressive when you hear that number, 8,000 survivors so far, of gender-based violence. And that's to tell you that there's a whole lot of work to still be done. All right, because if somewhere in Lagos, and let's just imagine so many other organizations who are attending to survivors of gender-based violence, going, attending to this kind of number, then that means we're actually doing something. Something is actually going on in terms of the support given to survivors of gender-based violence. So we can only keep talking about it. Or rather, let me say, we would not stop talking about it. We would not stop pushing this forward until we actually see that these survivors are taken good care of. And of course, the number of gender-based violence is actually brought down. So, Joy, are you here? Good afternoon, Joy. Hi, Joy. All right, Joy, you back with us?
Oh,
can you hear me?
I didn't realize at what point I lost. I lost you at? So you lost me at some point.
Yes. You were telling us about the journey so far in responding to gender-based violence. You've told us the number so far that you have responded to. You've told us where you were based, which you mentioned Lagos, and you're just telling us the story so far. Can you hear me?
Okay, so yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
All right then. So I was mentioning the services that we render to survivors. I think it was I went off and I was talking about medical and psycho services, which includes that render to survivors. We provide medical treatment, medical examinations to survivors, and like I said, it becomes very important to provide this, quite early, because there's a window with which a survivor can get the service or treatment that will get contracting HIV or getting pregnant.
Okay.
And we are also a referral service. We provide also referral services to survivors. So can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So where we are, services that we do not provide, we have a network of agencies that we work with that can provide these services. So we also act as a referral point to survivors to get the proper services that they need. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Joy. All right, thank you so much, Joy, for that. Now let's head on, go further in the discussion. What has your experience been like in dealing with survivors of gender-based violence? What are some of the common perceptions and the facts on this?
Okay. One thing I can tell you.
Are you there? Okay. All right. So, I think network is trying to play a fast one on us, but we will definitely reconnect with Joy as soon as possible. So we will have her back online to tell us their journey so far, to tell us their experience so far, in dealing with survivors of gender-based violence. All right, Joy, are you back with us? Hello, Joy. Can you hear me? Hello? All right, so let's see. Yes, I can hear you, Joy. Go ahead, please.
What we realize in this line of work is that there are lots of myths and stereotypes that surround the issue of rape, where survivors are, we perceive that survivors should look a particular type of way, and perpetrators should also look a particular type of way. So people expect that, this person looks very gentle, this person looks, he looks responsible, yes, that's a common word. So he cannot be a perpetrator. But we find that a perpetrator can actually be anybody. Anybody can perpetrate.
Yeah.
We find a father perpetrating on a child. We find uncles perpetrating on relatives. We find teachers perpetrating. We find grandparents perpetrating. And I say that, with every level of, when I mean grandparents, I'm talking about grandfather, grandmother. Perpetrating. We find, so perpetrator can be anybody.
Yeah.
And anybody can abuse as well. So that means that, we find a girl child being abused, we find boys being abused, we find young men being abused, women being abused. I mean, the youngest we've seen at the center is a 3-month-old baby.
Wow.
And the oldest we have seen is an 80-year-old grandmother. And then we have seen everything in between. So there is no particular ideal that, this is how a survivor should look like.
Yeah.
Is it the class you want to talk about? We have seen indigent people being abused. We have seen the elite also being abused. So it cuts across class, it cuts across age, it cuts across gender. It can happen to anybody at the end of the day, really. That's what I would say.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Joy, for that. Now, let's quickly talk about the challenges, which we know can be overwhelming, especially with lack of adequate funds. There's also societal norms, that have existed for years. How have you been able to overcome these challenges so far?
The challenges, they're enormous, people must say, and starting from societal norms. We find that a lot of the time, most of the time, is when a child is abused, when a minor is abused, and it might be necessary for me to say at this point that majority of our survivors are minors. Over 80% of survivors that we see at the center, they are minors, people below the age of 18, between 0 and 18 years of age. Now, having said that, we find that people are a bit more sympathetic. They are a bit more passionate when we hear that, a child is being abused. But then when the person becomes even an adolescent or maybe 16 years old above, people begin to ask questions. And then they are saying, what did you wear?
Yeah.
Why did you go there? Why did you do this? Are you sure you were not the one that seduced him? What did you do? And everything. So people are not sympathetic or empathetic anymore. They begin to ask questions. They begin to throw blame at the survivor. We find that a lot. And this also is what inhibits people from wanting to come out to talk about this, because they will think, I'll be blamed for this. In fact, they start by blaming themselves. They blame themselves for what has happened to them, and they don't want to face any more of the stigmatization and the blame. So they rather just not talk about it. So there's a lot of blame. There's a lot of stigma that still surrounds the issue of rape and sexual assault. And so most of the time when survivors come to us, we advocate for justice. We advocate for seeking justice. We will not let a case slide when it comes to us. We want to see how far we can go to ensure that justice is served. But then people a lot of the time would, we are a very religious people, right? And you will see a perpetrator has done this, and then they would want to make a survivor or the parents or the guardian of such a survivor, they want to make them out to be the devil, the bad people, for wanting to seek justice. And then that is where people will come to beg you and say, because of God, because of God, just leave this person alone. Forgive.
True.
If God can forgive your sins, why can you not forgive another person's sin? And make people feel guilty, whereas the crime has been committed.
It has.
And when people say that, I like to just go back to the same, let's go religious and say, okay, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. If the law of the land has said that raping somebody is a crime, so let's go do the time. That is what will be required. So there is a lot of that. There is a lot of, when people say that they don't think that it is, they feel you are unkind if you want to begin to seek justice. So no matter the outrage, when people say, oh, this thing is wrong, they will still turn around to say, don't send this person to jail. And the question I ask is, no, nobody is sending him to jail. His action, something that he did deliberately, knowing is what is sending him to jail. So there is that, norms and, perceptions that exist. And of course, considering that we are in a patriarchal society, people feel that, the man, there is, that mindset about the men, about the, so it always plays against survival. It always does. It always plays against survival. And then talking about us as service providers, the challenges can be really, really overwhelming, like you mentioned. Number one, funds, because I mentioned that the services that we provide at the center are absolutely free. And of course, we know that if something is free for you, somebody else is paying for it.
Sure.
And so a lot of the time, we don't find people who will pay for the service that we render. So a lot of the times we are, using the little that we have to provide services to the survivor. And because the Marable Center is a safe haven for survivors, it doesn't matter. They don't want to know whether you have the funds to provide the services. They just know that, somebody has told me that if I go to the Marable Center, they will treat me, they will not collect money. All right, so they will come. They will come, and we do not have a choice but to keep our doors open. Sometimes we keep our doors open at our own expense, at the expense of staff, where staff have to go, or maybe half salary. But then this is the service that we provide, and it has to be provided to survivors. So a lot of it, funding is a major issue. That
I can imagine.
And it's everywhere. Service providers like us, funding is always an issue that we face. So there is that. There is also the frustration that you would face when you feel that every other actor should come together to ensure that justice is served. So it's frustrating if at the end of the day, if you have done all the service, all the support that you have provided, and then a survivor goes to the police station and the police tells them otherwise, or the police tells them, you can just collect money now and just leave the case. Don't even go, don't pursue any case. There's no need to pursue any case. Or tell them that, do you have money to pursue this? If you pursue this case, it's going to cost you a lot. So bring 100,000. And the survivor doesn't have 100,000. And then they feel like, okay, so what is going to happen? So all of that is the frustration and the challenges that we face.
All right.
But I can say categorically that, to some extent, we have agencies that have been supportive, that we are doing this work together and are helping. Yes, we can say that.
All right. Thank you so much, Joy, for sharing all of those overwhelming challenges and how you've been able to get by so far. All right. Our time is fast spent, but let's get to hear how you have collaborated with security agencies, other responders, and stakeholders to provide support for survivors of gender-based violence. I'll just give you a minute to answer this.
Okay. I think I also started. Sorry?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, I think I started off on that in the last statement I made. We've collaborated. The police, they send survivors to us for us to carry out medical tests and examinations because
Our services are free, one, and then secondly, our medical reports are also admissible in court. So we also support, the prosecution in that, our doctors are called upon to give expert witnesses. And I must say that, in recent times we've gotten success, we've gotten justice, for a lot of cases, and we are glad for such collaboration. So, yeah, we collaborate with security agencies, we collaborate with government agencies and other, CSOs to be able to, because you cannot really do this job on, alone.
Definitely.
You need, very good collaboration. Yeah.
Sure. All right. So now let's hear your recommendations for the government, recommendations for the society, religious leaders, parents, women and girls, because like you said, this war cannot be won, with just one person's efforts. It's a collective effort. So what are recommendations when it comes to the government, the society, religious leaders, parents, women and girls? So just quickly, please. Then you just give us the final words on the whole discussion today.
Yeah. For the government, I would say let's do more, right? So the laws are there, the policies are there. Let's implement. Let's push it. Let's domesticate. Let's drive it home. Let's drive it to the grassroots. Let's do everything that we can, right? So that people know that it's not government as usual. When you do the crime, you do the time. And the society, we must change our mindset. We must change our perceptions about these issues. To the religious leaders, don't cover it up. When you hear about this, and I will commend a few that have reported cases to us. Don't cover it up and say, oh, we'll settle it up in the church. No, this is not a church matter. It should go to where the right, agencies to be to deal with it. To the parents, it starts in the home. It starts in the home. I mean, the boys who will grow up to be abusers are boys now. They need influences. What are the kind of influences that we are influencing the boys? How are we treating, how are we training our young boys? Are we teaching children boundaries? Are we teaching children to understand that boundaries must be respected? What are the things that we are doing in the home to protect our children? For women and girls, there is a lot. I mean, it takes to be a woman and a girl, you are exposed to abuse 2 times more than a boy. So we just need to arise. We need to stand up. Okay, we need to take our stand and refuse every form of abuse. Refuse every form of abuse. Right? We are not weak. We are not the weaker vessel. Right? We must stand up and take a stand against all forms of abuse. And I'll say that in this 16 days of activism, and I like the theme that says invest. I like that word invest because you might not necessarily. There are a million and one things that you could do to invest, right? You could be advocating. It could be in your demeanor. It could be in the words that you speak. It could be in your shutting down a sly joke that that would encourage rape or sexual assault. It's putting your money where your mouth is. Whatever it is that you need to do, invest. Let us invest. It's very important that we do. Okay. Very important that we do.
All right. Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you so much for being a part of our program as a first responder on the 16 Days of Activism. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is all mine.
Thank you. And we wish Mirabel Center all the best, and we hope that what all the resources you need to actually keep this going. We pray that people would definitely see the work you do and would also want to contribute their own quota to make it a success too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be part of the program.
All right. Pleasure is all ours. Thank you. Do have a great day and enjoy the rest of the week and all the activities for the 16 days.
Yeah, thank you. And you too.
All right. Thank you. So that's Joy Shokoya, and she is the center manager of Mirabel Center. And of course, she has come in today to tell us their first responder story on behalf of the Mirabel Center. So we can only say kudos to Mirabel Center, kudos to all they have been doing, and we hope and we pray that by this time next year, it will be a different story entirely. Hopefully they've moved forward. Hopefully they've been able to, overcome most of the challenges they have, and we have a better story to tell. All right, so that's it today on day 3 of the 16 days of activism. Acknowledging Nigeria's gender-based violence is crucial. All right, so I just hope that we continue to give the vital survivor support and paving the path for a safer and fairer society. A very special thank you to our guest for today, Joyce Shokoya, Center Manager, Mirabo Center, for sharing the story, and to you also being part of a responder story. Thank you to the producer of the program, Esther Alaribe, and the executive producer, Tom Okewole Shunaya. Join us again tomorrow at 12:05 as we bring you another first responder to tell her story. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. Just stay tuned to Women Radio WFM 91.7. Good afternoon.
WFM 91.7.